baby, for the first time since 1988, Funkmaster V, Little Vinny, is getting a brand new Atari system in the box, current gen. Holy God, I'm excited. The Atari VCS is here, baby. But what? It's already broken. Hola, childs. It's time for Funkmaster V's Getting Hip with the Atari 7800, where Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, and comedian, takes you on a tour of all things cool about the Atari 7800. Are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here. So before things went to Poop Town, I was so excited. Look at the boxes with the little Atari. Oh my God, little asteroids gimmicks on there, blowing it up. So cute. I had a speaker hat. Whatever you're supposed to do with that. I'm 50 years old. But anyway, looking at the box on the back. Ooh, somebody's using it as a computer. How weird, but cool. And then here we are. This damned screen. Broken. Right out of the box. All this nefarious information out there about the Atari VCS. There's an update from December 2022 that can't fix itself, so we gotta fix it. So here we go. Because the Atari itself doesn't tell you what it needs, you gotta go on the internet and look it up. My Atari's not working. What's up? I felt like a dumbass 12-year-old kid. And I basically found on a couple websites that you gotta go to Discord. Discord, if you don't know, is an irritating social media platform that children use, and it looks like you're trying to read DOS. I miss MySpace, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'm showing my age, so I find a video with a cute little man that lives in a computer, and he's there, and he wants to help you. But you got to get a USB stick, and we got to flash the Atari, which, in passing, he says, you could brick your system if you do this wrong. Terrific. I'm sure they would send you out a replacement Atari lightning fast, but since this one took so long to get. Again, yeah, guys, I've told you before, I'm not tech-minded. I'm not one of these nerdy guys that sits around and hacks open computers and makes robot monstrosities and turns my Atari 2600 into a toaster. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. So all this stuff is sweaty. After it's over, a few days after the fact, yes, I'm fine. It wasn't that bad, but it was irritating as hell. In fact, I didn't touch the Atari for 3 days after the initial screen that says, something's not working right on your effing brand new purchase. So it took me a few days to calm down, but we got it rolling. And after this little gnome man who lives in the screen told me how to flash the system, it starts working nice. And you can see it's beautiful. It's got the Atari and the Fuji and it's blowing crap up. And the interface looks good. I like it. It looks neat. But so now, what is this damn thing? It's not really a video game console. There's no slots. There's no real way for video games to kind of go in and out. There's no CD slots or nothing like that. It's basically a Linux computer. Now, most jabrones that live in the world use PCs. Nerdy people who like photography and making videos, they kind of do stuff professionally. They like Mac. The ultra nerds who've never ever touched a boob like Linux. Linux is great for those types of guys, and I think this thing caters to those people. In fact, on the back of the box, if you remember, it shows people using the Atari VCS as a computer. And there's actually people on the Atari Age threads that say things like he uses this for his business, like his graphic design business. So he's got programs on there where he's generating big, beautiful online content for people, and he has clients, and he apparently makes money. So you could probably turn this thing into anything you want. So my experience with the Atari VCS started off on the left foot. Okay, you know how James Brown says, get on the good foot? This started off on the shittiest foot in the shittiest shoe that you ever found in an abandoned bus station. That's the foot it started off on. So let's talk about some positives. Positive number one. This is the absolute most beautiful, coolest, sleekest looking video game system you've ever seen. It's sleek. It looks like something from the future, yet it's got that wood grain vibe. Ooh, and it connects the past. Good Lord. 10 out of 10 on looks. So even if this thing bricks, it'll look cool as hell on a shelf. I'll even do you another one. Positive number 2. The classic controller. Of all the things in the world that make this system unique, and there's not really much that does that, the classic controller does, because you can use the joystick as a paddle control because it actually spins. This in itself actually changes gameplay depending on the different games that you have. Okay, we'll get back to that later, but the controller really is the killer app of this entire system in my estimation. I'll give you a third positive. You can use, because this thing is basically a computer, you can use any controller that is a USB controller that you fancy. Xbox controllers, PC controllers. I use an Xbox controller on a couple of these games. Really cool how versatile that is. So that is a huge thumbs up. Because, and we'll talk about the first negative, ding, these Atari controllers feel really cheap. The modern controller looks cool. It's got the red button, the red trigger. Hell yeah, the Fuji. We love the Fuji. But it feels like one of those Switch alternative from Taiwan type controllers, the ones you buy when your friends are coming over and you don't have enough controllers, so you only spend $20. The problem is this is $60 to replace if this breaks, and it doesn't feel good. So you'll probably never ever buy a replacement of the modern controller because you'll just use an Xbox controller. The problem comes with this classic controller, which does feature multiple buttons, 2 buttons, and a couple of menu type buttons. This thing feels really cheap, and these are the only ones in the world like this. These are $60 a pop. So if one of these things goes down, baby, you're going to be on the damn Atari website with your credit card in hand, asking somebody to hold $20 to next Tuesday. That is a huge negative. You can see firing up the system. You've got to make your account. And they've got different avatars. I picked the Ninja Golf Ninja from the Atari 7800 game, Ninja Golf. That's cool. So they know where the bread is buttered, which that would be nostalgia. However, you had to enter a PIN number to get into the system every time, but you can turn that off because that was irritating. I hated putting a PIN number in. So here's what we've got. This is what the splash screen looks like now that I bought 3 games for this thing. Look at that snazzy graphics. Oh my God, Atari. So the first thing that you want to do, excuse me. All right, thank you. Whoa, take it easy. I'm trying to talk here. The first thing you want to do, ooh, nice music, is look at what it's got. A positive for the Atari VCS. A positive is they've got games included. All right, well, that's awesome. Most video game systems do not come with video games anymore. Someone may push back and go, well, these are old, nasty games we've played 1,000 times. But this is the backbone of what Atari was. And if you look here, we've got a kind of a snazzy looking collection. Asteroids Deluxe, Black Widow, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Gravatar, Liberator, Lunar Lander. Everything so far is a good game, except Lunar Lander is a little bit rudimentary. Major Havoc is weird but fun. People love Millipede. Missile Command, great. Pong, I'll never play that in a million years. Red Baron, never played it in my life. Space Duel's good. Sprint's a little archaic. That's a 2-player sprint. Awesome graphics on that damn cabinet, though. I'd love to have that. Super Breakout, So these are going downhill quick here. But Tempest is one of the best video games of all time. And then Warlords. Atari sold a lot of its properties. You'll be sitting there going, why isn't there Paperboy? Why isn't there Tetris? Why isn't there Battlezone? Why isn't there Star Wars? And you'll start that list, Gauntlet, and you'll realize there's a lot of games that, man, it would be awesome. But you know, this is awesome, this is cool, but the problem is, if you've got the Atari 50th anniversary celebration, which most people will, It has every one of these games except, well, there's two probably. It doesn't have Red Baron, which is a first-person shooter that uses vector graphics, pretty rudimentary. And it doesn't have a 2-player sprint. The one on the Atari Anniversary Collection has an 8-player sprint. And then, let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. All right, one issue that I've had with the Atari VCS is, oops, it's hard to figure out. I didn't even mean to do that. One negative I would say is trying to cycle modern menus with a classic 2-button controller is at times very counterintuitive. Sometimes flipping through these menus is a pain in the neck, and you keep hitting the wrong button. They're hard to find. See this? I didn't mean to do that. No, I don't like it. I keep hitting quit. See? Frustrating. That is not right. I don't want to do that. Okay. So then I figured it out. We have a bunch of Atari 2600 games. And there's a lot of these that aren't on the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. So let's see. So it looks like there's Combat 2, Unique, 2600 Desert Falcon, Double Dunk, Flag Capture. These are things that are not on the 50th Anniversary Collection. Hangman, I don't think is either. Yeah, a few of these are not. Miniature Golf. Off the Wall, I don't think is. Maybe it is. Pong Sports. Some of these you'll never want to play, but some of these are pretty good. But anyway, these are a bunch of games. Return to Haunted House and Save Mary, which came to fame as a 7800 game. This is the first Atari transgender game, 2600 game that believed in its heart that it was a 7800 game and started asking everybody to call it a 7800 game. Well, now it's back to this, but this is a good game, actually. It's a good puzzle game. Sentinel, that's interesting. The only light gun game for the system. Secret Quest is elaborate. So yeah, there's quite a bit of odd games, but they're here. They don't have Solaris, that's weird. 2600 version of Tempest, wow. So, stuff to definitely horse around with, and there's different ways to separate the games, so that's kind of neat too. And there's, if you go back to this, let's see, gallery. Okay, cool. They've got what cabinets look like. So we've got some history here too. So blow it out your nose there, Atari 50th anniversary celebration. We got some stuff to brag about as well. That's kind of neat. Okay, but is this worth $300-400 to play these old games in a cool compilation? Once again, the answer is in the red, no. What also comes free of charge is the Antstream arcade app that's on the desktop. Now, this is not free. A negative for this is it said that this was free, and then when I tried to implement that, somehow I signed up for a subscription that was $12 a year. Now, $1 a month is not going to kill me, and I've got this for a year, but this is basically access to hundreds of older games, some strange indie games, NES games. I haven't got into any of these computer games in here. You can hook up your keyboard and play a lot of these computer games, and some of these I bet are acclimated to controller. I would imagine these are pretty easy and fun to get into without sweating. You can see there's some Atari games in here. There's tournaments, and these are active, and there's several people playing these, and these are not just playing the game. This Centipede tournament, for instance, is a game where you've got one life, you've got 2 minutes, and they want you to see how many mushrooms you can destroy, which is tougher than it sounds. This pinball tournament I entered, I got my ass kicked in that one. That is how many points you can score on one ball. So there's that kind of stuff. Again, operating this menu with the classic controller and the modern controller is at times counterintuitive. But it does have like a nice little thing here. Let's see. You've got your own profile and my tournaments that I've played. And the coolest thing so far is Planet Smashers, which is an Atari 7800 game. Let's see who Daddy is. Number one in the hood is all Funkmaster V. I already took out One Love MTR, double boobs, or whatever his name is. Get him the hell out of here. The funk is back, and I will take over all these 7800 records very soon. So that's fun. And this is a nice interface. But again, this can be played on a computer. So you got to buy some games. So let's do that. There's a store. And the store is retro looking, but also kind of weird, right? I mean, this makes everything look like it was made in the 70s, or like the government made. Like, this looks like generic games that you would get, like the old blocks of cheese when you guys were poor. Some of you guys are rich, you don't know. But here are all the games. Let's see all the games. There's not a lot, so this is the big negative. There's not a million games to buy. And some of these, like look at this, Gravatar for the 2600, you can buy that for 99 cents. Well, hey dummy, you got it for free already. So they're kind of like stacking the store just for numbers with crap they've already given you for free. You can see there's some 7800 games. They're fairly cheap, $3 each. Some of these you should never play, like Real Sports Baseball. And Super Huey is one of the worst games of all time. Stay clear of that. But they've got some good ones. Alien Brigade for $3. I would buy that. But the bells of the balls are these recharged games. You got this, Black Widow recharged. And it's only these are only typically $10. You've got Centipede recharged. And these games are good. I've bought 2. For the sake of time, I won't dive into these too much, but you really should check these out. These games are also available on other systems like the Switch, so that brings up the next negative, which would be the best games are available on other systems. Or we could put it like this, no exclusive Atari VCS games. Yikes. We'll get to that in a second. However, if you want to play this Atari VCS, these recharge games are fantastic. I got Yars recharged, I got Gravatar recharged, and I also bought a new Atari game called Atari Mania. Now, Atari is making some new games, and they put them on this system. However, their Roller Coaster Tycoon, their brand new game, is not on here. And it's like, hey, can this system not handle that? But you can see these things are awesome. They've got tons of new modes. They've got multiplayer leaderboards, all sorts of stuff. Simple gameplay mixed with modern replayability. All right, so in conclusion, I'm going to rate the Atari VCS for you on a scale of 1 to 5 like I do on my Atari website. I will rate the Atari VCS, drum roll please. That's all we can afford, that sucks. A question mark out of 5. Now, does that infuriate you? It would infuriate me if I watched all this video and I came up with that bullcrap answer. But here's what I'm telling you. I am a cult member. I bought the Atari VCS and I knew the problems it had. Mainly, there's just no games for it that are exclusive. This is a weird computer that can play some Atari games. And again, I'll go back to say, if I didn't say this already in the video, which I plan to, is Atari could take a dump in a box and put the Fuji logo on the outside of it, and dummies like me will buy it. Now, I'm a member of the cult, so I love this thing. I'm glad I bought it. But if you were a kid that came up to me on the street and was like, "Sir, I need food and a video game system. Should I buy the Atari VCS?" I'd be like, "No! You stupid ass! Don't buy that system. Buy a Switch. If you're homeless, you can walk around the streets with it." I know there's no reason to own this. The only thing it has right now is the classic controller. Can give you new gameplay experiences like we saw with Gravatar Recharged and Yars Recharged, which it takes games that are that would play a little bit differently and give you new options. Like, for example, with Yars Recharged, it turned a dual stick game into a control scheme like Atari Warriors. And you can, that's the really cool thing, is you can kind of horse around with that. Again, on the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection, you can play Tempest and Major Havoc and games like that, and Breakout and Warlords with a spinning controller. And that's really important if you're an Atari enthusiast. Again, the spinning controller is not as good as a spinner. It's better than a joystick. And then again, we're forgetting all the trackball games, which kind of feel crappy with a joystick. But anyway, the classic controller is the only reason to own this system. And that's a lot of money. Oh, and don't forget the speaker hat. I have a proposal. And I know everybody who's going to watch this, and they're going to be like, dumbass, we've already thought of this. But I'm serious. And I want Atari to watch this video. I know Atari is small enough that they may watch this video. Seriously, consider this. And this is Funkmaster V talking to you because I love you. Your problem with the Atari VCS, it works fine after the initial flash issue. The problem is you don't have exclusive games. You're going to be like, dummy, we know, but we got to make money, and we put these games, these recharge games, and the games that we create, we put them on the Switch and Xbox because we need people to pay because there's not enough people. I get it, but there is an answer. There are dozens and dozens of people who make Atari games every day, and this is the homebrew scene. People don't have Atari 7800s. People don't have Atari 5200s. People don't have Atari Jaguars. Sometimes people can't afford them. Sometimes people don't have the room. And so if you get a hold of these hobby programmers and Albert Yacero from Atari Age and any of these other publishers, and just talk to them. Hey, we need your help. We need to keep the Atari alive. There are dozens and dozens of 7800 games that don't have any sort of licensing tie-up. Bob Day Crescenzo is this close to getting Super Circus Atari Age and Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest on the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. It didn't pan out. But he told me he wanted to be a part of it. Can you imagine? Bob would love to have his games on this system. And I imagine everybody that makes games for the 2600, 5200, you don't charge the full $60 that they do when it comes with artwork in the box. But for 9, 8, 7, 15, whatever, there are just dozens of Atari games that already exist. And then you can start putting those out every week. All it is a ROM. These games are tiny. You're not releasing God of War Ragnarok. You don't have to playtest these things, especially the 2600 and the 7800. The Jaguar games, the Digital Eclipse came up with a brand new emulator, which is free online now, and you can start playing Atari Jaguar games on your computer with proper emulation. And since it's got a keyboard you can attach a keyboard to the Atari VCS. You can play Jaguar games because there's a lot of the games that have keyboard functionality, or, you know, the controller used a keyboard. Same thing with the Atari 5200. You can finally have a system that plays all these games, and they're pretty accurate. So if Atari starts releasing our Atari homebrew works of art, and these games are awesome. These are games that people want to play, like Muddy Funster's EXO, and MK Smith's Millie and Molly, and Penguin Net's Ricky and Vicky. These are games that have no license, and you can put these on an Atari system. These are Atari games. You can put them on an Atari system, and the gaming world will have to take notice. There's new Atari games every effing week coming down the pike, and these games are fun, and they're not expensive. And now we know we have to pick up an Atari VCS because we don't want to miss a Lynx game, a 2600 game, a 5200 game, Jim, or the 7800, which is really the hottest programming scene right now in the Atari universe. So there you go. I don't know if this video helped you or not.
I have a lot of strange emotions for it, but overall, I will say I'm glad I bought it. I know it's new, so it's got that Christmas feel, but when I get kind of tired of Yar's Revenge, when I get tired of Gravatar and Atari Mania, I'll buy some other games, but it looks real bleak. I don't know how many, maybe 10 more games, and then I'll be starting to go, who knows? You know, down the road, I may sing a different song, but I'm glad I got it. I got it for half price, so, you know, that cheapness, that innate cheapness my parents put in me, yeah, satiated, baby. Baby, ride the funk train. Don't forget Atari7800forever.com. We review every Atari 7800 game. If you try to beat my score on Planet Smashers, remember, we got a cheat guide that gives you the warp codes for free. That's on there. And also, don't forget, we make movies, The Hike. And this week, WJHCAM, a story about my life, coming down south, being a a Yankee and a Southern Gospel radio station, which is the only place that would hire me, and watching all the crazy hijinks from the South, and then also wrapping it up with the Return of Christ, Y2K, a lot of blood, demons, boogers, and butts. This is now available worldwide on Plex, so check it out. And we've got a third movie coming out here in a few months called Camp Smokey. And if you like comedy horrors, baby, you're going to love that. Thanks. I hope you guys appreciate the video. Love you from the Funk Nation. Love you from the mothership. And if you buy one of these Atari VCS machines, man, I hope you enjoy it.